So, you may or may not be aware that a couple of years ago we had a vote, or a referendum, not on Brexit this time, to see whether Britain should change our electoral voting standard. Now, the one we currently have is called first past the post. What they wanted to change, and what people like Caroline Lucas are continually banging on about, is the alternative vote or representational vote. So, what is the alternative representational vote? Well, currently at the moment in our system, let's take Barnsley for example. It is mass majority Labour. Labour win all the time. However, you get people obviously voting for Conservatives, Lib Dem, Green Party, Ukip, whatever. So those votes that are cast at the moment do not elect an MP. It is only the person who gets the most votes. However, in an alternative vote system, all of a sudden, those votes count. Now, this is a really sneaky way by a lot of these third parties of essentially sneaking in power, because as Caroline Lucas is currently the only Green MP sitting in Parliament, the Green Party only can cast one vote. However, in the alternative vote system, those small percentages that they get mean that all of a sudden, I think someone worked it out, that they'd have, I think it's between 15 or 20 MPs in Parliament, which all of a sudden becomes quite a large percentage. Now, you get a problem here that when you look at other parties, for example, Ukip would have had 85 MPs if by last election we had gone by alternative vote. So you have, to be honest, what I would find quite a worrying standard, because you'd have, let's say, let's say this time around Labour had a clear majority vote, but there were the other parties like UKIP or Green, for just the two primary parties that are trying to push for this, because they can't either A, sell their message, or A, they don't do a lot of work. So they then get a representational vote, which, to be honest, is not proportional to the amount of, wins they achieved. Because most likely the MPs will come from not winning seats, they would come from, people who voted for them in small numbers. But that would mean they would have a larger say in Parliament. I mean, for a second, imagine if there were, as we've said, let's take it from last election, there were 89 UKIP MEPs in Parliament. That would be an awful situation to be in. But it would literally be the situation we would be in if we went for the alternative vote. Now, I agree on principle that the alternative vote does sound attractive, but you then get people in who would have seats in Parliament who necessarily wouldn't have got in through winning. They would have got in just by the fact that there had been people who would vote for them. And this in the past would have got people in from like the BNP, would have had members of Parliament. They've never won at a general election, but if the alternative vote system was in, you'd have people in, members of Parliament sitting from the BNP in. And that's where the alternative vote, for me, does become sort of a massive undoing. Because you'd have people in, MPs sitting in Parliament who didn't win their seat, if you get what I mean. So when Caroline Lucas says that when she goes on Question Time saying, if people want, more power and, take back control, then there should be an alternative vote. Well, guess what? We had this vote, as I said at the very beginning. Do you know what the turnout rate for the alternative vote was? 12%. And it lost. And we have kept our original first past the post system. So, there you go. That's the alternative vote. Yeah, I know there are advantages, but again, like I say, there are also disadvantages. And you could equally say the same thing of our current, standards now. So, how then do you improve the voting quality of the UK? Well, that's a story for another time.